Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
Hey everyone, how we doing? Jimmy, how we doing?
Oh,
Jesus. Really? Did you show up today?
Here I am.
Did I wake you?
Oh my God.
Jeez.
I'm just overwhelmed. It's been a week. It's only Tuesday and
Oh
it feels
my
like
God.
it feels like Friday.
Yeah. I mean, after the dryer vent wizard last week, I mean, you were all tuckered out.
Speaking of which, we're going to bring something up about that today.
Are we?
As a matter of
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And that's part of our guests.
Okay.
Deals with her right here.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. These are the two girls that are outside the studio every week.
Every
Groupies. That's what I thought. I knew I recognized them. I did.
We made it inside.
Yes.
We've been.
I knew him.
I
knew them. Right.
Well, they have lovely shirts on. Why don't you describe them for us?
Oh my God! The Trouble Tribe T-shirts.
Back
in the day,
Yeah.
when we were in Metal Edge magazine, they showed up with the Trouble Tribe T-shirts on, and on the back it says "In front of the studs."
In front of the studs. Yeah.
That's our podcast.
We're taking over.
You're taking over. Good. Feel free to jump right in here. We can leave. We're about done anyways.
Thank you for your time.
You guys have been great.
Thank you very much.
We got it from here.
In front of the studs.
In front of the studs.
Featuring.
And of course, I take homage with this. It does say Team Jimmy on it.
It does say
it
it does say Team Jimmy, right?
Yeah. That's all right. I'm going to get my own
Well,
next
there's
week.
a reason why we have,
We're
I
just
guess.
getting you today. Just give us
Okay,
time.
that's true.
Yes,
That's
time.
true. All right,
Give us
I
time.
feel better. Maybe a hat next time.
Episode
Right.
two.
That'd be
Episode
great.
2.
Oh boy!
Oh, this is going to be a part 2 to this? I'm not ready for that.
You'll be the first guest on In Front of the Studs.
Oh, sweet. Nice. I like it.
Jimmy, you'll be second.
Wow, that was quick. You got the T-shirt. That's all you're getting,
yeah.
buddy. Yeah.
All right, so let's tell them who our guests are.
Yeah, who's our guest?
You're going to say the names because I know them way too well, and I just found out that I said them wrong.
Yes. Tihan. Right, Tihan. Right, yeah.
So we have a kitchen designer with us from Rings End, which is Reba Tahan.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I quit.
Reba Tahan. And the homeowner who we installed her kitchen for her and her countertops and now the plumbing and the electrical, which is Catlin Stillman.
Good job.
Because I've been saying it's Stillman,
Stidham.
and she's like, no, Stillman.
Stidham. Yes. Yeah.
I sit corrected.
It's only been 3 months.
It's
I was
only
going to
been-
say, at least
no.
by the end of the job, he finally got your name
Yeah,
right,
there
so
you
that's
go.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
It's
spent
okay.
a year there one night at that house.
You tried to leave and then we ripped
Oh
out
my
the
God.
Nice.
bathroom. Our bad.
So the purpose of this show today, besides it being so giggly and everything, it's kind of almost feels like an anniversary. We started on Catlin's house 4 months ago in the planning, I would have to say. Moved into this great house and redid her whole kitchen. And in the meantime, we did some more renovating in her house, and we're doing more renovating now. And I really wanted them on the show because Catlin is the model customer and client that we'd always want to work for.
That is true.
I consider you flawless, really, to be honest with you.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow,
Really,
yes.
because
Welcome back more often.
when she's feeling down, she'll be on the show. Right. When her kids are beating her up, and life's not good, she's going to be on the show. So basically, I wanted to give our listening audience some insight on a kitchen renovation. I mean, we talk about it. We talk about all the materials that are used, this, that, and the other thing, but we never get into the psychology of it, which I think would be very, very interesting.
Yep.
Because people get in there and they're excited, apprehensive, nervous, scared, you name it. There's a whole gamut of emotions that run into a kitchen renovation or a big renovation in a house. And that's on all parties. That's not just on the homeowner, but on the contractor and all the other trades that work on that.
Right.
So I thought this would be a great informative show that we could have, and people can learn from us, I think, on this one, which would be great.
I think so. Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I have a couple of questions just to get us started.
Sure.
And we can just kind of jump on in.
Yep.
Now, how did you decide on your team for your project?
That's a great question. And I feel very lucky because I feel like we landed the dream team.
Nice.
We sort of maybe serendipitously or circuitously, we went to, I think we did everything sort of backwards. So we went to look at appliances before doing anything else,
Yeah.
which seems like a reasonable first step.
Yeah.
And at Page's Hardware in Guilford, and Joe, who happened to work with us, said, "Oh, who's doing your kitchen?" And we said, "We don't really know." And he was like, "Oh, there's this woman named Reba. She's awesome. Here's her card." And we're like, "Okay, great, thanks." And then other friends of ours had said good things about Rings End, so I had dropped my daughter off at school one day, and I took my son, who's 3. We were hanging out, and we decided to drive to Rings End. So we sort of drove there, went to the kitchen section, and we walked up and said, "Hi, are you Reba?" She was like, "Yes, I am."
Maybe.
And
Depends. Yeah.
so that's how we found Reba, and then and she was great, and we had a great time right off the bat.
Nice.
It's a huge difference right there.
Yeah, and then we got to the stages where we were actually going to sort of move along and order cabinets, and then I asked her who she would recommend for contractors, and she gave me a list of I think 3 or 4 people. It was just like name, number, name, number, name. I was like, Reba, there's 4. How do I know?
Right. How do you know?
And I forget exactly how if you said call him or we just call, I don't know. But we ended up calling Jimmy first, and you answered your phone, and
And then I came down and met with you.
yeah.
And then which was really great too, which you did, which was very good, is you wanted a list of references, and I gave you a list of references of people that I've worked with. You never called them? You never called them?
We discussed it, and we were like, yeah, this is great.
I'm like, we got references.
Right.
Who knows what they'll say?
Well, it's true, because people will say you're not going to give a bad reference. So, I mean, it's a job that's gone really, really well that you probably give a reference for. But the fact that you have references, I think, speaks volumes.
It's huge.
Not that you need to call and talk to the person, even though, a lot of times my customers will call or email them, whatever's more convenient for the customer. But, yeah, I think just having references shows that you've been out there doing work, doing quality work, and, people like you. So.
Yeah. No, we had met with one other contractor, and I think we just felt like personality-wise, Jimmy was amazing and would just kind of work. We I think knew, but didn't really know, but had some sense of like the length of the project and the number of times we'd be in contact and seeing and talking to him and things like that. That you sort of want that to be a good and a fun and a healthy relationship. Yeah. And same goes for Reba.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting too. I mean, it sounds like part of the process for you was finding people that you knew you can work with. So it's kind of like an interview. Sort of a process.
Absolutely.
And I say that to contractors too that, seem like they always have like the wrong customers. I'm like, you have to kind of interview them at the same time while they're interviewing you.
Right.
Make sure that what you can bring to the table is going to meet their expectations.
Yeah.
So, and some people require a lot of communication. Some people don't want to talk to you very often. You just have to find that out about your customer.
Yeah.
So, yep.
For sure. Even when you're designing, like you want to work with a family to where you can be, always upfront and honest and, and kind of see like how they're going to work with you, because if they're not hearing you from the beginning, they're not going to hear you when you're telling them their countertops is only going to be 1 1/8 inch thick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's those little things.
Yeah, very true.
Which I have to say, Reba is on her game. And I mean, if I had any questions whatsoever, you answered them right away. And, you double checked numbers, because she came in and double checked her numbers before even everything was done.
Yep.
After we had gutted the room, she checked it and came back and checked it again. She wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Because when we had to do the placement of the other window they were going to put in. We all wanted to make sure that we had enough room. Nothing was going to be. We caught everything to make sure everything was going to be right, and we had. We had the team too, as far as the electrician and the plumber. And what was really great about the whole situation on my end was that there was no egos.
Yep.
The electrician was great, Bobby Benko, Bright Light Electric.
Yep.
And Joe the plumber, who we've had on the show. Joe is fantastic.
Nice guy.
Joe works hard. He gets stressed out on his own stuff, which is fine, but not on anybody else.
Yeah.
Talks to himself a lot, but that's good. That's a sign. That's a sign of a genius. So that's good. And really happy with what we had. I mean, we were just like, wow, this is going really great. I mean, I had some snags myself when nobody was around. Like your floor was just was a bear. Something that I totally missed was the subfloor. We talked about that on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Because I thought, we're just going to bust up the tile and take up the luan. And we finished that, and it was one of those hot summer humid days, and the AC was not working.
Sorry.
It's all right. And it was hotter than Vietnam in there.
Well, hey, there's a pond right across the way. You
Yeah,
just
right.
run in.
We
I
never.
told him, go swimming any point.
Right.
And that's what she
Never
said.
did.
We had our suits. Henry had his fishing pole,
Right. You were ready to go.
and never did.
Never
Never did.
Never
Wow.
did any of it.
Wow.
None of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's disappointing.
No, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
I
But
went swimming.
Next summer.
huh?
I went swimming.
You did?
No.
Liar. You liar. It's a beautiful piece of property, and when basically getting back to the floor, we ripped everything up, and it was like 4:30, and that was a bear of a job of that floor, ripping it up. And I turn around and I look, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to take the subfloor down. It won't be level with the other floor in the living room. So
Big
we
sigh.
tore at it. We tore at it, and Ron was just tired and upset, and he went home. He quit. He quit. I quit. That's what he said.
I remember
walked
this
out.
day.
What is it? Is it Wednesday again? Quit again?
Yeah. Henry stayed.
Tuesday. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God, Henry stayed as long as he could, and he left.
Yeah.
And then it was me. It was the three other people, me, myself, and I,
Yeah.
just getting to that floor because I told you, I'm sweating it for these flooring guys because I
Yeah.
don't know these guys.
Yeah.
And they can be real prima donnas.
No, sure.
So I'm tearing everything up, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 8:30 at night. I've got no strength left. I'm going to go out and buy that Pike bar, get the rest of this up in the morning, get up early and get over here in the morning. And I got there in the morning, popped it just about all the way up, and these guys were on time. They showed up, they walked in, and there was just like this halo of white light around all of it. And they were so nice. They were like, how are you? I says, I know, I got some holes in the floor. He goes, no problem, we should replace that. Can you get that? And I go, yeah. So I ran out. They did all the rest. I mean, they trimmed everything up. It was beautiful. Place was clean. Brian was still talking. When I saw him that morning, he was talking. He never stopped. I was gone 20 minutes. He was still talking. I came back. And the guys just like grabbed the plywood and they put it down themselves and they put everything. And I was just like, my God, I'd never seen this before. These guys were fantastic. Nantucket flooring, unbelievable.
We're trying to get him on the show.
Yeah, trying.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, that was my biggest. That I was scared to death. Yeah, that and the hood, the vents,
the
yes, the hood vents.
hood.
Yeah.
Oh my! Have you heard the hood
Oh, absolutely.
story?
Yeah, no, he was
Yes.
starting to, before he even did it, we were talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or we just talked about it, you and I here, but yeah.
I
He
will
was
say
like,
I don't know
what I'm
any of the
doing.
details of the hood except for that it tormented you.
It did.
And
did.
Me too.
Yeah. You too, huh? Oh, no.
Well, because when you go to put a hood in the kitchen, this hood that you bought, I don't know, it was made what NASA made it. I guess. It wasn't like your typical hood. You had to have a certain air current. You have to this and that. If you don't do this, then you got to do that. You got to knock a hole in the wall so everyone in the dining room can smell the beef that you're cooking in the kitchen. It was terrible.
So many things.
So we had to get it outside, and just getting it outside. And my good friend Chris Bickley, giving you a shout out, Chris, buddy, went over there, came in, and he does this kind of work, and he was just like, "Yeah, we need this, we need that, we'll do this." And he goes, "I'll tell you what, I just kind of put it in it for you." Okay. And we did it. It was perfect. Came out. I
nice.
was like, "It was great, fantastic."
I have to interject
Yes.
on the hood situation. So Jimmy called me about the hood, and we're like, "Nope, we're gonna just recirculate it." And I was like, "Oh, okay," because it was ordered, and I was like, "Oh no!" So I had to call Crystal Cabinets. Thank you, Crystal, for being so great to me. And I'm like, "Hey, I need to cancel the insert." They're like, "No problem."
Wow.
Canceled it, and then cabinets are on their way, and Jimmy's like, "Reebs, guess what? The hood. We can make it work. We'll vent it." And I was like,
Yes.
Because we had issues like we don't, there's stuff that we know we can do, but until we open up the ceiling and that we saw they're running a boiler pipe, a hot water pipe, right where we got to run the vent.
Yep.
And I'm like, how much room do we have? And it fit perfectly. I mean, we couldn't go, if we went a half inch up higher, that vent wouldn't have worked.
No go.
A half inch.
Yeah.
We had the half inch. The pipe fit perfectly. Everything was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
And our
So
filet
happy.
smell now goes out.
It goes out to the geese, out to
the
all your geese.
Outside.
Out to the geese.
Beef for the neighbors.
So
There you go.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question there, Caitlin. Let me explain. You're a professional. You're a doctor, and you have two lovely children, a husband, and
I need to interject for a moment. My children think that Reba and Jimmy are married.
Wow. Hey, listen.
Do they really?
I'm not saying nothing.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do. It came about
Yes.
because somehow I mentioned Reba's husband. Why?
It was the peacock tie.
The
Remember?
peacock tie.
Yes.
But we're not going to get into this
We won't
story.
get into
Okay.
But there was
Episode two.
episode 2.
Yeah.
There was a peacock tie purchased for Reba's husband. And I was explaining this to my children, and they were like, "Oh, Jimmy?" I mean, basically, sure.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
happening.
keep going.
Yeah.
So in their world, Reba and Jimmy are one.
That's
We
funny.
are
How old are your kids?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Very
All right.
cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
So there you go. You can't you can't keep them. They'll scatter. They were actually really good. They just hung around the yard and stuff like that, and climbed ladders and things like that.
Oh,
but other than
Oh,
that,
God.
they were.
I
Told me that story too.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
You said nothing went wrong in the house, Jimmy.
No.
You said that.
And you were really cool too. You texted me, go, Jimmy, when you come back, can you take the ladder down? You didn't tell me that your son climbed 2 flights on my ladder.
My 3-year-old son was up 2 flights in the air on Jimmy's ladder.
I totally
looking
forgot.
Down, so proud.
Mommy, look at me.
Yep.
Yeah.
He can climb. I've seen it.
Fortunately, he got back down unscathed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
That was something because that was the day you guys were moving in, things were moving that, and Jimmy, and it was like, I was on call, Jimmy here, Jimmy that, Jimmy. Jimmy, can you? Jimmy, yeah, that was my last name, Jimmy, can you?
Yep.
Jimmy, can you? Jimmy, please,
I
thank
actually
you.
said, Jimmy, are you going to the other night? And before I even finished, said, yes, I am. Yes. So now he even knows what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, the other day, right, on the legs?
Yeah, I said, the island
Yes.
legs look great. Are you going to? Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But what was great about
I
it,
digress.
because, you walked in, I mean, and you just loved everything that was going on because it was progress, and it was just things were moving along. You didn't lose your mind where other customers would have lost their mind over the floor. Where when we were doing the floor, we said, yeah, we can save that floor because once we pull the tile up, the original floor is there. Not knowing, we didn't know that they had glued the luan in the subfloor, whatever, to the original flooring. So it was trashed. It was ruined.
Terrible. Yeah, it's done.
And you turned around and said, well, get it. When you can get it, it's going to be 3 weeks. And I was standing there right with Brian, the floor guy, and you were like, okay. Because what else are you going to do?
Right. Either you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could
Lose your mind.
yeah.
Right, and then you wouldn't have
Yes.
fun.
But if you lose your mind, I mean, you're always. I'm sorry, but as a contractor, you're waiting for that shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Because we've been down that road where we've talked earlier before we started recording. Everything is okay. It's just paint.
Right.
It's just that everything can get fixed. But homeowners just get so wound up and so it's hard for them to recover over something like that. It really is. It's just like you got to work 3-4 times as hard to get where you got to go. Every customer is different.
Yes.
You're great, but you,
Thankfully and
Yeah.
unthankfully. Yeah.
yeah,
Depending on which. Yeah.
So I mean, I will put you on the pedestal, on the top, on the tall soapbox because you were great. You were great. You made our lives, everyone's lives, all the tradesmen's lives, really, comfortable and focused. Because our job, it's not a commercial job. It's a homeowner's job, and our job is emotional. If we were doing a commercial job, it's technical. You don't like it, we just take it down, we put it up again. If you don't like it, that's different. That's a whole different ball of wax.
Yep.
It's personal to us. Because there's so much behind that. You entrusted us into your home with your family to make that right. And if there's something wrong, we feel like we have mistrusted you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So there's emotion, and it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're an electrician, you do commercial work all the time. When you're in someone's home, and if they don't like it, it's personal, And you were great. And if there was anything that was wrong, or if you had any questions, they were dealt with easily. Some other customers will just lose it when you don't have to lose it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's just like, that just makes life a lot better. And everyone can really concentrate on their job and be more attentive and be more caring.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and more motivated. You know, you get a lot more with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was when I was in corporate America, it was the same thing. You know, I would tell the different managers I was in hotel business. I would tell them, find something good about each one of your, you know, crew members and write them up for it and say, this is what you do great. And they would come to me and they're like, I got nothing. I said, then you got the wrong people, you know?
Yeah.
And once, you know, people started getting these accolades, you know, put up in the wall of like the employee break room and stuff, they got all excited, and then everybody else wanted their name up there, and people just they started to care, you know. And same thing works for us too. If people are nice to us or, you know, seem to appreciate the job that we're doing, it makes us want to do even more and, you know, add things, you know, do extra little things for the customer just because it's been such a great relationship.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Now, your relationship, you two guys, when you started working together, when you first started working together, I mean, you melded a relationship. I mean, it was just more than when you first walked in. I mean, you sized each other up. I mean, is this the girl? Is this the girl that's gonna like do my cabinets? You know, is she competent? And then, and you're looking at her going, I hope this is gonna go smooth and easy. You know,
Right.
this is gonna go the way, you know, the design. She's gonna like the design. Because didn't you guys worked on the design together?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did some mind work.
Well, I mean, Reba came up with the design, and then I think we met a couple times in sort of minor things. We were just sort of shuffling around, and we fell in love with sea spray. This color that Crystal has, this like beautiful turquoise sea spray that we wanted to do the island in.
Yes.
Right.
It was gorgeous.
Until Dave said no.
We died.
The husband.
Yes.
Why did you even listen?
Yeah, right.
Wow, wait a minute. You're
never-
too good.
I've
Hold
never
on.
I've never
I
heard
never
a husband.
heard that.
I've never heard a husband that got away with
was,
that.
Really?
It was. I mean, we didn't like go to. There was also the day when Jimmy assumed we were doing a white island.
Yes, Jimmy. Come on, look at us. What?
Right.
You said, what color is the island? He said,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's white. Come on.
No.
Yeah.
It
So
never
anyway,
matches the cabinets.
we went from sea spray to this very beautiful Morning Glory Benjamin Moore shade of blue. So it's a really pretty light, but like bright,
Happy blue.
very
Yep.
happy blue,
Nice.
not like a muted blue.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we going with this? We fell in love with sea spray, and we had a mutual love over sea spray. What was your question?
What was the question? No, the relationship
You answered
between
it.
you two
You
guys.
answered it. Yeah.
That's what happened.
You weren't butting. You guys didn't butt heads at all. And you weren't. And you really weren't. Which was great about you, Reba, is that you were not like the yes woman.
Right.
I mean, you interjected design. You injected whatever. You had respect for her color and how everything would work and stuff like that.
And
which
she
is
let us
great.
know what would work, and I mean what would work and would not work, because we don't know how to design the kitchen, obviously. And we have some ideas, and just about like the ergonomics of it, which my husband keeps talking about how ergonomic the kitchen is in a great way.
Yeah.
But just like where you put this drawer and that drawer and all the different things. So I think, and little things like there was a day we realized a spice drawer was going to be $2,000.
Oh my God.
And
What?
so,
Oh, sure.
So
Yep.
so we scratched the spice drawer.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of transparency, I think, and fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing right there. You said it. What I always tell my customers, and Colin tells the same, no matter when you're doing a job, like, you have to enjoy the journey.
Right.
Enjoy the moment of it. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know. Now, again, you're moving from one house to another. I've dealt with customers who are moving from one house to another, and they are chaos, absolute chaos. And it's just like, oh, and they
lose their mind.
Yes, they do.
Their minds aren't even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got a 2-month window. You know what I'm saying? You've got a 2-month window before you're moving. So if I was the homeowner, and I'm going from one room, and we know what's going from this room to that room, you can look at a room and go, well, if I take a tape measure to the new room, is all this stuff going to fit in that room? Well, guess what? I don't think it is. So what would I do? Let's part with some of the stuff that we're not going to need. And I've many a times when people move, they move in and they've got too much stuff. So now they're already stressed out because they got nowhere to put it. So it's all in the middle of the room, right? And we were good enough that we had a lot of your stuff done.
Yeah.
Sometimes if there was a real big snag, some of the stuff's not done yet.
Yeah.
So that's even worse.
Yeah.
That's just, you're just compiling a problem on top of a problem. So you're looking at more of, there's issues now. We got issues. Oh boy, do we got issues. And you know, I saw that. And then, you know, it's all about the emotion of the homeowner now. And you're trying to quell because they're amping up because of stress that they've created, and you're trying to you get involved in that too. You know,
Yep. It's
some
almost-
guys do. I do.
Well, you kind of feel it all. Like, I think the biggest part about designing a kitchen for anybody is building that relationship.
Right.
You know, and you just become like part of the family. I mean, you're there so much. I mean, we've had sushi.
We have had sushi.
And
What?
It was wonderful.
Sorry.
Sorry, Jimmy. But
I didn't even get a peanut butter jelly sandwich yet.
Hey, you didn't bring out the sardines?
I haven't got the sardines yet. No.
gross.
I love sardines.
No.
I love sardines.
Told you.
You don't know how to
Yeah,
live.
you thought it was me.
You don't know how to live.
That's so gross.
Oh my God! Have you ever had a sardine? It's not an anchovy.
No, I would never
See?
have one.
There
Look,
you go.
look.
Yeah.
You don't
haven't
knock
learned.
it till you try it.
No.
Mama said opportunity only has one pair of knockers, and you haven't even tried it.
I would probably throw up.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. They're
If
like
you were really
slimy and
hungry,
gross.
if you no,
I
see,
would eat
see, you're already
grass.
creating, and you got this little jackass on the side of you making faces and noises.
We're gonna hang out.
Bringing them all to my side.
So true. So, off of that
Yeah.
for a second,
Sorry.
Caitlin, what were your biggest fears?
Fears.
Fears. Were there any fears that you like? Your expectations or lack of, or were there like, oh my God, what happens if this, or hopefully this will not, you know? Any fears after the project had started?
Had started. I think there's so we had about it wasn't 2 months, it was like a month, really. 6 weeks that you guys were working before you moved in. So we knew that things weren't going to be done when we moved in. I guess there was maybe a little bit of a fear of how long that would be, but I wasn't that worried about until the kitchen, just until we had a working kitchen. I think I was more fearful about things that had nothing to do with you, like what if we didn't like the color of the island?
Well, it wasn't
That's-
sea spray.
Which it wasn't sea
But
spray.
that's common though too. You know,
But
a
just
lot of
things
my
like- more
customers
things like that,
when they see
yeah.
the countertop and they go, "Oh, thank God."
Yes.
They're like,
yes.
all I had was this little tiny thing to choose
Exactly.
from, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah. Once you see it in, it's
Yeah,
much
so
different,
I wasn't worried about the work that you guys were doing. It was more of what we had picked out, like stuff that we were responsible for. So I probably looked at the picture of like you said, the picture of the countertop against the cabinet door, like every day until the countertops were in.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
Just because I was like, oh, is it too gray? Is it too this? Is it too that? And I'd be like, oh no, it's fine. When I look at the picture.
Yeah.
The next day, I'd be like, oh, what is it? Not that I could do anything about it. It was already
Right,
done.
right.
You know.
Yeah.
And now that it's in, now I love it and it's great.
She's got a kitchen chandelier.
Oh my
God.
god, my favorite.
Craziest.
We
You
love
need to
it.
send
Really?
the picture to
All
me
right.
So pretty.
so we can post it on our website.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because
Wait,
it's really,
The
I've never
ladies'
seen anything
website's
like
gonna
it.
Blow up.
You have to tell them what my first initial response
So it
was.
is this. It's a chandelier with 12 like spokes. It's a brass chandelier that like one brass rod that comes down.
Yep.
And then 12 spokes sort of go off of that in all different directions in all different colors. So sorry, there's like a spoke that comes out and then a ball at the end, which is red, orange, green, yellow, etc.
Yeah.
12 different colors.
It's
Rainbow.
very- it's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I showed it to Reba,
And she fell in love with it immediately.
she said, "Absolutely not,
Yeah.
absolutely not."
Wow.
And I was like, "Wow." Now I want it even
happening.
more.
Right.
Thank you for your advice. We are not going to take it. And
There you go.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But it was the
It was one time we
classy
did not listen.
chandelier.
Yeah, it's very classy, super classy.
classy.
So I worked with this woman she's the website, the company's out of New Orleans, who a friend of mine who I ran into at my college reunion in June happened to be like, oh, my friend just got the chandelier in her kitchen. It's so fun. And she also loves bright, fun things. And that's why I found this chandelier, this woman. And so she and I went back about picking the exact colors that were going to be in it.
Wow.
I was actually probably the most nervous about that.
Well, actually, you were, because when the chandelier came in, and
the
I was
picture
like,
you sent me.
I was like, what the hell? Is this?
We definitely need a
And then
picture
he
of
hung
this.
it up. I was,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go. I was most nervous about the chandelier. He hung it up, and he didn't arrange the spokes in the right way, so it
Well,
looked sort of unidimensional.
It was very unidimensional, and the reason why I left it that way, because when it was open, there's no table under it, so everyone's gonna whack it, because I whacked it.
Yeah.
So I was like, now if I make it one dimensional all the way around, people aren't really gonna hit it.
Right.
You'll see it more, believe it or not. And I get this. I think you called me. You were like,
I was like, it's wrong. Something's wrong with it. What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with the
happened to it?
chandelier? What's wrong with the chandelier? This is like not good. My blood pressure is rising. What's wrong with the chandelier? I said, oh, it moves. She goes, oh my God, thank God, because everyone says.
Well, Jimmy sent me a picture because I was like, Jimmy, send me a picture. Caitlin was away and I couldn't get there and I knew the chandelier was going up. I'm like, Jimmy, send me a picture. It was like dead on. It looked like a bulb and a light. And I was like, cool.
He could work on his photography.
Yeah,
Right. He's
Jimmy.
no Ansel Adams
We
over
were
there.
counting on you. Nope.
No. I'm sweating. I'm sweating like a politician, and I'm just snapping away. There you go. There's a picture. Like, hey, you go.
Picture from every direction. Yeah. Nice.
I got ceilings to hang.
Nice.
We really did ask a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a
No,
picture,
you guys
my
were
God.
cool. No, that was fine.
Lots of pictures.
That was
Yeah,
fine.
that's
No,
good.
That was
Yeah.
good. That was great.
Now, Reba, you're at the Rings End in Madison?
Brantford.
In Brantford. Okay.
Yes.
How long you been there?
A year.
A year. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. You like it?
I do.
Yeah.
I love it. I love my team. I mostly really enjoy the contractors and the customers that I'm
Okay,
meeting.
that's great.
Just because I'm having fun,
Mhm.
and I also worked in corporate America
Oh,
for what
sorry to hear
sucked
that.
my life out.
Yeah, it does. That's the way of doing
So,
that. Yeah.
When you meet people like this and Caitlin who just make you smile,
Yeah.
and you're just like, yes, if you want bright orange, I'm down.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
whatever you want. It's
Except
your
when you
house.
said no to my chandelier.
Right.
I did.
That is true.
It's so
Yes.
true. But I love it.
Yeah.
I had it. but it works in the kitchen.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It really works.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The other thing.
Electrically, too, because I was also worried about that.
Yes.
Were you really?
It works electrically as well as aesthetically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about it electrically. I wasn't. But you had mentioned something when you were talking about color. You was like, and I only thought the stairs that go into the basement or goes and go upstairs. You were like, oh, we're gonna paint these all different colors like the crayons.
You remember?
So I'm saying to myself, oh, she's gonna do that for the kids.
Yeah.
And then the lamp shows up. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
No, you said-
transformed.
You
Yeah.
said, I thought you liked color because of your children. Now I understand you just really like
You like color. Speaking of which, while I think of it now, did you pick the color for the front door?
blue.
I figured. Did you pick it? Is it there?
No.
I need it for Friday.
Okay.
We're trying to paint
Noted.
it.
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
Everybody else
Yeah.
now knows too. So.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
The whole world will keep you on track with that.
Absolutely.
My other strategy has been to not do anything until someone tells me I absolutely have to, like right now.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Well,
you
you got
go.
other stuff going
Like
on.
at
so.
one point, Reba was like, "You really have to pick out countertops."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, got it, noted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's part of our job.
Well, because it's
It
a little
is.
too overwhelming
Yeah.
to think of all the decisions you have to make. So
Sure.
therefore, I would just make them as they were,
Yep.
as sort of we had to.
Yep.
And you were happy with the countertop that you
Oh,
picked.
I love them. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kitchen came out great. I was over. So,
thank
yeah,
you.
and I was taking a video of Jimmy doing his walkthrough and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
it came out beautiful. It was really,
Thank
really
you.
nice. You're
We
welcome.
love it.
Yes.
So now we're doing another project now at the house.
Yes.
So just about finished. What kind of tile are you doing? Are you getting tile that's going to match the countertop?
Weren't we just talking about this?
For the bathroom?
Yeah. No.
What do you mean?
The tile for the kitchen because we haven't picked that out yet.
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
the
No,
backsplash?
Backsplash.
Yeah.
Backsplash.
Yes, it is. There's a lot going on in the
Wait.
kitchen.
So the backsplash,
Oh, no. Oh,
the
no.
backsplash, Jimmy, you're gonna die. It's this beautiful mosaic colored rainbow with glitter grout. Yes.
Shut the front door.
Glitter grout would be
Liar.
amazing.
You're a
Yeah,
liar.
that would be.
Liar. That's such a no. It's not out.
No, it's going to be, we were going to do white subway tile, and then we found a very big subway tile. So
Nice.
it's like 8 by 24 inch. So almost, I think it may almost look a little bit like shiplap, but
Yep.
so that's it. Because there's
That's nice.
there's a lot of the island is the color. There's a door going out to a little sun porch from the kitchen that we painted the same color as the island.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chandelier. So we thought
So
we'd bring it
pretty.
down enough.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You're too colorful.
So yeah.
And it always looks really nice too with the under cabinet lights.
Yes.
So it'll really shine up nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. What,
Yeah.
Everything is going good? We didn't shut down? Okay.
Jimmy was worried.
Oh,
I was for a
no.
second there too.
We
Don't
broke
worry.
down the system.
We were just so
Crashed
fun.
it.
So, ladies, I don't know if you heard our last week, but we had the vent wizard on the show, and we're talking about dryer vents, how would they have to be cleaned and everything else, and how they worked. And yours has to be totally redone. It's wrong. It's unfortunately. So I need to get in there. I didn't notice it, but I'm like, I did, but I didn't. So I went up in your attic the other day, and I'm like,
Wait, our dryer vent or our what are you talking about?
you upstairs in your laundry room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That the dryer vent for your clothes
Okay.
is run. This was just done so piss poor.
Really?
They ran it up and into the other room, across the room, and out the other wall.
Jeez.
Where they should have just ran it straight up through the ceiling.
Yep.
It's got to all be hard piped because
Right.
you can't use that stuff anymore. It's not code. So we got to go up through your attic, across, and that's what I got to find out. Can I go up, across, and then go?
Well, you got to figure out what your total run is going to be, how far that is.
Can't be more than 25 feet.
Correct.
And then I got to
Yeah.
put it. We have to put a fan in that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Then you have to have a booster fan.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna be less.
Yeah.
We're gonna be less than 25 feet. I know we will be.
So you should be fine.
But I'm like,
So
why did they do it that
something
way?
that Jimmy does is he tells me all these details, all these technical terms and numbers and things like that, and I have no idea what he's talking
Right.
about. So
Well, I
this is
need-
like with the hood, he's like, I'm getting this guy in
Yeah.
for the hood and this and
Yeah.
that, and
Sure.
Okay,
Sure. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Gotta
just,
go.
Just get it done,
I
right?
gotta go wipe my kid's chin. Right. I gotta go. So the other thing is, I need. She has another contractor there.
Yeah.
He's totally awesome. What a great guy. 'Cause, you know, I got no ego. Everyone does.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic. And we're brothers from different mothers. You know, and really nice guy. So I need to get a hold of him because I got to figure out. I got to get that dryer out, and I don't know how to get that dryer out because he's got it in there. How do you get it out?
Oh.
It's in there with no room. So can I take the cover off, the
I
table
think you
off?
just pull it out.
Yeah. Just pull it. Typical.
Right,
Just pull it
right,
out. Just tear that wall down.
What's so
That's
hard?
what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's so hard? Just tear that
do
wall
it.
down. Just
Right.
tear it down.
Right.
Tear it down. I just move it.
You know how to build another wall, don't you?
You just build a wall.
Right.
Just build it.
It's fine.
Oh, for crying out loud, I'll do it.
I mean, if you want to talk about something interesting where we will pay attention, ask us what color we're going to paint it.
Right. Yes.
Then we've got so many things to say.
Well, that's going to be another thing because I'm sure we'll talk about that once we get that whole bathroom in order. What we're going to do now with your
Nice.
bathroom.
Nice.
Dun, dun,
Yeah, that's still in the brainstorming phases. So give it some
Okay.
time to
Yeah.
percolate.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
You got a nice because you also they have another bathroom that they can use, which is fine.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's fine. I just use that. I thought it's glorious. You're going to tear that one up too at some point, right? Put another one in.
Eventually.
Oh my God!
You're going to be there a while. She's
It's
going
like
to be
a
there a
Roman.
while.
It's like a Roman bathhouse. All you're missing is like Spartacus.
We just got to keep you around, Jimmy. We slowly
right.
tear
Keep
one
it
room
around.
and then the
That's
next room
right.
and the next
That's
room.
right. So who's your tile guy? Who are you going to use? You got a tile guy yet to do that?
There is, yes, he is. I haven't met him. I'm meeting him tomorrow.
All right.
He is my mom's brother's wife's maybe nephew.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
He did
family.
my mom's backsplash, and he seems very nice. He actually works as a police officer at Yale
All right.
right
Oh, wow.
now.
So your mom worked with him.
Yes.
All right. So he's good
Yes.
because your mom.
She's not watching. Yep.
she might.
She'll be. She
All right.
will be.
You better.
I'm saying good
Yep,
things.
all right, all
It's
right.
all good. Trust me, it's all
We're
good.
going to have another groupie here
Listen.
next week. It's not going to go so well.
I appreciate.
There will be a big bullseye
no.
through the.
I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate the oxygen in my lungs.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. All right. Good. Yep.
So, anywho, she's a wonderful lady. She
Yeah.
really is, and I'm not just talking her up, but she's a wonderful lady. But your father was a construction,
My
right?
grandfather.
Grandfather.
Her father.
Right.
Okay, there you go,
She
yep.
basically, she's got an apron on, but she could wear a tool belt. It's
Right.
the same thing.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
we couldn't tell the difference.
Yep.
Unless you try to wash and wash a pan with a hammer. But other than that,
Right.
you know, she's like, come here. Come upstairs.
I got that too.
Did you? Oh, no.
This is what we should do. Not what we're going to. This is what we should do.
Yeah.
This wall's got to come down. It's got to come out. And it's got to go across.
That sounds like her.
And then she was like, get me a price. And then she walked out the door. She walked out the door.
Yeah.
So then I met a guy going, Caitlin,
Your mom was here.
I was here. Who am I listening to? Whose house is this?
It's a great question.
Very nice.
She's a wonderful lady.
Yes.
Really wonderful lady.
So, any advice you want to give to other homeowners or to contractors or?
I think the best part about this job and any advice that I could give is we're partners in this. It's not like your designer screwed up, you know, or your
Right.
contractor
Yes.
sucks, you know,
Yes.
like those words should never happen.
Never.
It should
Agreed.
always
Agreed.
just be like, hey, you know, call me,
Yeah.
you know, and we figure it out because any good designer or contractor is a solution-based person.
True.
And if they're not and they're going to get fired up, then your job is just going to
It's not going to be worth
it's
it.
going to be
Yeah,
awful.
yeah.
And it's always nice to be with customers like Caitlin and Dave because they just were always so understanding
Mm-hmm.
and you could explain things and they're like, oh, okay. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, that's it? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just nice. So I think, you know, being a good listener
Mm-hmm.
and really just working as a team, that's what it's about.
You know,
Very much so.
And I find it interesting too because Caitlin just kind of listens to all this and she's like, "This is who I am. It's not like I'm pretending to do anything different or anything else." But that's the kind of person that we just love to work with. I mean, you can just keep hearing the praises over and over and over again, and it's just amazing. You know, when you get that customer, it makes a world of difference. It really does.
Yeah, I think something we've been renting our whole lives. This is the first house we've owned, so therefore the first house we've been able to do work on. And
Sure.
Our realtor thinks that that's why we are going bananas with the decorations. As a side note, because we've been waiting so long to do this. But I think everyone tells you that you have to, you know, have to look around to get 3 prices for everything and contractors and kitchen and all that. And I think that I don't want to underestimate the importance of cost because the whole thing is obviously very expensive. But I think that what we learned is that you're sort of more shopping for personality because people
Right.
are, I mean, things are going to cost different amounts and someone might be really, you know, off, but by and large people are sort of clustered around a certain
should be,
price.
yeah.
And so I think it's more about like, I think it is very important to meet a lot of people so that you feel confident with who you have and it's more of a personality fit,
Yep.
which I think we did a little bit of that and also got a lot lucky with who we have because it was just so fun working with Jimmy and Reba and
Yeah.
everyone else who was involved. And it felt like, it was exciting. And I do remember one time Reba called me and was like, so, I got the final quote back from Crystal. And, it was,
And I died.
Yeah.
and she was like, and it was $60 more than I quoted.
I died.
You should have said Reboot's coming out of your paycheck. It is.
And
That's
no,
60
it
bucks.
wasn't. I don't know if it was 60. It was
Yeah,
100.
no,
It was
sure,
something.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
something. And she was like, so Rings End is going to pay for half of it. And are you guys...
That was
Are you guys able
no. Yeah.
to? I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, it's fine, yeah.
no problem.
Right. That's
I was
funny.
also a little scarred from a previous thing, but we won't
Okay.
talk about
Yep,
that.
see, there you go.
No, but
There
they
you
were,
go.
and they kept us updated, and it was very transparent. It was like, okay, this is what the numbers were, and we had actually gotten some other cabinet because the cabinets are a huge expense. So we told Reba, we were like, well, we found these cabinets, and it felt awful, but I was like, I told her that we got a different price for cabinets, and what could she? Yeah, I did feel like I was cheating on her. And my husband was like, are you seriously not going to use Reba? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? I'm like, no, I said to talk to her about the price and this. And she was she looked into everything, and then she was like, I just can't do any better. I'm so sorry. I want this to be perfect for your family. Did it so nice about it. And then I went to bed like crushed. And then I woke up the next morning, and at like 6:30, I got a text. Hold on, I figured something out. I'll get back to you in an hour.
Oh, wow.
She was like, and we hadn't even made any decisions yet. And
Yeah.
and she was like, I figured this out. Let's do it this way. This cuts the cost this way, and we were good.
Nice.
But it was just like that, like super honest and always like I want what's best for your family.
Sure.
And you. Not like I can't believe you're not going to use. It was just the whole time with both of you guys.
Nice.
I think you know, with not just myself, but with Reba, we're not just 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We were never 9 to 5.
No.
Still not. You know what I mean? You called me you texted me on the weekends, on Sunday,
What?
and I responded. Yeah, well,
So did I.
Really?
No, I
Okay,
went to the
yeah.
house at like 9. Oh, we went on vacation. You said nothing went wrong with the house. We went on vacation. This was not your fault at all. And we came back and there was no water because our well pump got hit by lightning.
Oh, that's right.
So
You
we
told
were,
me that.
we were staying at our
Yeah.
in-laws' house, and I went back to grab clothing, and it was like 9:30 at night, and something, we know nothing about houses. We never owned a house. Something was leaking, a gas smell in the basement.
Oh.
So it was 9:30 at night, and I called Jimmy, and he didn't answer, and I'm like, oh, it is Saturday night at 9:30. Okay.
Yep.
Or some night. And then I drive all the way back to my in-laws, and then he calls me. It's like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So, anyway, no, they were
it was
always
oily. it was a
Yeah.
fitting. It was
Oh,
a fitting
wow.
that was leaked.
Okay.
And the oil tank. But
Yeah.
that was put in before they sold the house.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was a family member who did it.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
if an oil guy did it, it would never have leaked.
Sure. Sure.
Done wrong. Sorry.
All right, Jim. What do you got? Last words. Wrap this up.
Me?
Yeah. What do you guys say?
Never got a last word. Never. Never.
You?
This has been an awesome experience. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely,
honestly,
really.
I knew this was important. It was important to me, and it's important to our listeners out there. I know
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be fantastic. I think you've done a lot, both of you,
Mm-hmm.
for our listening audience, especially when it comes to kitchen renovations. And hopefully, and I'm sure we'll get more questions.
Yep.
Anything we'll throw it to you, and you can throw it back.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Absolutely.
Maybe
So,
we'll have you back in on the bathroom.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thanks for
there you
having us,
go.
guys. This
Yeah,
was
thank
great.
you.
little Team Colin hat or something.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, yeah.
Just a little something.
Throw me a crumb. Really.
Anything.
Would be good. Yeah. Thank you both for coming in. We really do appreciate it.
Thank
Hope you guys had fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We did.
All right, everybody.
Thanks.
We'll be back next week. See you then. Bye, Jim.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.